Well, this has been a developing situation over the last week or so. This all centers around the Kherson region in south-central Ukraine. Over there's a dam. It's a huge dam. It holds a huge reservoir of water, and it's been flooded before. It's actually flooded the Kherson region in the past. Historically, this has happened. So both Russians and Ukrainians both know what could happen if this dam is broken or damaged in any way, and that water starts flowing south towards the sea. Both sides are claiming that the other side is going to basically cause damage to the dam because it's right in this place where this intense fighting has been going on over the last several weeks. And initially, the Russians asked people to start evacuating. They said they were going to evacuate around 60,000. Now, Russian sources are saying around 25,000 people have been evacuated from the right bank of the Dnieper River. Ukrainian and Western intelligence sources are saying that Russia is actually retreating from these areas and actually pulling out soldiers and is planning to, or has actually mined the dam and is planning to explode the dam and cover up its own retreat and make it difficult for Ukrainian forces to continue to advance in Kherson province. And now these accusations about a dirty bomb, Russia is saying that Ukraine might use a dirty bomb that's going to release radioactive material into the air in this specific region in order to basically kind of make a final blow to Russian forces in the Kherson region. But Ukraine, of course, is denying that. But this is a developing situation. It's not clear exactly what's happening on the ground specifically, because even though Russia has called on people to evacuate, Ukrainian officials are telling people, don't believe them, try and get to Ukrainian-controlled territories instead of following these Russian officials who are going to take people, as Ukrainians say, to labor camps, concentration camps, and even separate children from their families. So the fate of those people who are being removed from these areas in Kherson province, these are Ukrainian citizens being forcefully displaced by Russian officials, is not clear until now. That it was planning to carry out a dirty bomb attack and then blame it on Russia. And Kiev says that this is part of a Russian disinformation campaign that's been going on for several days now. It's all focused on what's happening on the ground in Kherson. There's a large dam there that holds a huge reservoir of water. Russian occupation forces have been in control of Kherson Oblast since February, and they control the Oblast capital, the Kherson city. And over the last several days, there have been reports of Ukrainian advances in that region. Just today, Ukraine announced that it liberated at least 80 more settlements in the Kherson region. Russian forces are reportedly moving from the right bank to the left bank of the Dnieper River, and some people are portraying that as a retreat. However, Russians say they are trying to get people out of harm's way as they actually move military equipment and soldiers to the left bank of the Dnieper River. Ukraine says that Russia is preparing to damage the dam, cause very significant flooding in that region, displace tens of thousands of people, and cause significant damage to homes and infrastructure. All the while, Russia says that it's actually Ukraine that is trying to damage the dam and force Russia to retreat. The situation there remains tense, and across Ukraine, people are continuing to suffer from cuts to electricity and water and other basic services because of this several days long campaign by Russia to target Ukrainian critical infrastructure. Citizens telling them to prepare for more attacks, especially attacks by the Russian forces using these kamikaze drones, as we saw happen in Kiev over the last week or so. These kamikaze drones cause a lot of damage. They cause a lot of fear and panic, and to make things worse, Ukrainian officials are starting to report that some of the kamikaze drones that have been attacking Ukraine over the last week actually were launched from Belarus. So now that the U.S. is confirming that there are Iranian trainers in the Crimean Peninsula helping the Russian forces work with this weapon system, it brings up questions about whether or not Iranian advisors have made it all the way to Belarus. And all this being said, the fighting on the front lines continues. In Kherson, the Ukrainian military continues to push forward. And according to the Ukrainian military, Russian troops are retreating to the left side or the left bank of the Dnieper River. The Russians are framing it in a different way, saying that the Ukrainians want to destroy a dam and flood thousands of square kilometers of land and displace thousands of people. But the Ukrainians say that that's wrong, and the Russians are actually planning a false flag attack. And this is all happening while Ukraine continues to ask for more weapons, specifically to try and prevent these drone attacks from targeting critical infrastructure, making it very difficult for people to live here in Ukraine. There are still thousands of people across the country who are cut off from electricity and water because of